Hello and welcome to the Backlog Odyssey. I'm Patrick, and this time around on Game Bites, we're taking a look at the super stressful, uber intense, and absolutely addicting Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon was developed by Red Hook Studios and published by Merge Games, well, at least the retail version, the physical version, was published by Merge Games. Darkest Dungeon originally started off as a Kickstarter campaign, and then went on to Steam Early Access, where it must have been successful because it hit its 1.0 release in 2016 on the PC, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation Vita. About a year or so ago, it was then released on the Nintendo Switch and the Xbox One. So no matter where you game, you have access to this game, which is super nice. Darkest Dungeon is a turn-based dungeon crawling RPG with roguelike elements, or I guess sorta roguelike elements. It has things like permadeath and run-based missions, but a lot of that is actually alleviated by the fact that you can quit out of a mission at any time, and any upgrades that you purchase along the way persist, from mission to mission. Now let's just jump right in so we can take a look at the game. And not only is the game really addicting, it's very stressful. As I said earlier, it definitely makes you think twice before you do anything and regret any mistakes that you make. So here we are in our estate, and in this case, the Backlog Odyssey's estate, where you'll be able to recruit new characters. So all the characters that we currently have can be found on the right-hand side. And those would be acquired through the stagecoach. And then you can upgrade your abilities, your weapons, your armor with the guild and the blacksmith. And then one of the key features of this game is that your characters can suffer stress throughout missions. And if you look at that little white bar underneath each character's name, that's their stress gauge. Once that hits its max, then the character will suffer something called an affliction, which is, along with it come debuffs and various other effects that are a detriment to your survival in a mission. And every character will have various stats, and each of those stats will vary based on the type of character that it is. So in this case, Mr. Lovell is a man-at-arms, so he would have things like high HP, high protection, or not protection, high dodge, high damage, so on and so forth, and various other abilities specific to him. Some of the other features are that when you come back to town, you can actually alleviate a character's stress by visiting the tavern. So you'll have things like the bar, the gambling hall, and the brothel that will be used to relieve stress of your characters, and the less stress a character has, the better they perform in a mission, basically. And you want to try your hardest to prevent them from suffering afflictions. Let's see, we also have the sanitarium, which will be used to cure mental illnesses or reinforce what they call positive quirks. So buffs and debuffs. So you'll have a negative quirk, which is a debuff, a positive quirk, which will give you a buff or a perk, or an increase in your stats. And then you have the survivalist, which will give you camping abilities, and you'll be able to camp throughout specific missions. There's three types. There's a short, a medium, and a long. And on medium and long missions, you're able to camp, where you can use your character's camping abilities to reduce stress of your companions, or heal your companions, or add buffs to your characters that will make the longer missions a little easier. And then finally the Nomad Wagon, where you can buy trinkets, which are basically your character's accessories that will add, again, more buffs and debuffs. And then each of these areas can also be upgraded. So for example, here we can increase the wagon size, which will give us more trinkets every day, or the merchant network, which will reduce the cost. And then each one of the stations here, I'll call them, have similar upgrade paths. And then you'll use these items at the bottom, so the bust head, the painting, the notes, and the crests. Those are basically your upgrade station upgrade items. And then you'll have your money, which will be used to purchase character upgrades and character equipment and trinkets and so on. And finally, each character has a resolve level. So if you look at the right side of a character, you'll see these 1, 3, 4. That's your resolve level. That basically dictates the level of equipment that you can purchase, the level of abilities that you can purchase, and then how strong you are. And one thing that you got to look out for, and we'll see this once we jump into an actual mission, is that a higher level character cannot enter lower level missions, though the opposite of that, lower level characters can participate in any mission that's a higher level than them. Let's actually jump into a mission so we can see what that's all about. Now this is the mission screen where you'll see all available missions from each available area. We have the Weald, we have the Ruins, the Cove, Darkest Dungeon, the Courtyard, and the Warrens. Green ones are low level, so any character level 0 and 1, this is appropriate for. Orange are veteran, so any character level 3 through 4, it's appropriate for. And then red ones is orangey red, is champions level 5, and then there's red up in the Darkest Dungeon, which I'm assuming is the highest level mission, requires a level 6. Well, it doesn't require, but they recommend a level 6 character or higher. And then let's jump in. Who do we have available? We have a Brimo, which is our healer. We have our Gravedigger Jillian. We have our Knight Reynold and our Highwayman Dismas. So that's a pretty good lineup. Let's go to a level 5. And this is medium level. If you'll look on the left hand side, you'll see the medium. That means that we can actually camp once in this mission. So let's get Renauld, we have Dismas, we have Jillian, and let's get our healer Brimo. And let's jump right in. Okay, so once you're ready to start a mission, you'll be able to provision yourself with various types of equipment. So you'll have your food that you'll use when you're hungry. At certain points, your characters will say they're hungry. You'll have to consume food. If you don't have food when they do that, you'll suffer damage and stress. And then you'll also consume food at campsites to heal yourself. You'll have shovels to clear debris. You have keys to open treasure boxes and doors. Torches are one of the most important mechanics in this game, and these dictate how much radiant light there is in a stage. And as you progress through the dungeon, your radiant light will deplete, and use these torches to increase the radiant light. And as your radiant light goes down, you'll suffer debuffs like increased stress, increased enemy damage, increased chances of being surprised by an enemy. So when you're surprised, an enemy will get preemptive strikes on you.
Corruption has soaked the soil, sapping all good.
Alright, so bottom right hand corner you can see the map of the stage. Each of those bigger squares are the rooms, and then the lines between them are the pathways to those rooms. And along each path you have a chance to encounter enemies, you have the chance to find treasure boxes or various other items, and that's about it. I mean, you just do your dungeon crawling. You explore, you fight monsters, you fall into traps, you collect items, and so on. And if there's one thing I want to say before I forget, is that narrator, talk about someone that's intense. Talk about someone that needs to take a chill pill for sure. Well, alright, friend, that is the Darkest Dungeon. I really hope you enjoy. Be sure to look out for my review in the near future. I still have a long ways to go, I think, but you can follow me on Twitter at Backlog Odyssey or on Instagram at The Backlog Odyssey to stay up to date with when this review will go live. You can also find this review and all my other reviews on the Backlog Odyssey website, which is backlogodyssey.com. Until next time, I hope you have a good one. My name is Patrick. This is the Backlog Odyssey, and I hope to see you guys later.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. The ground quakes.